Hi students, and today we are going to see in our second unit poem Confessions of a Born Spectator, written by Acton Marsh. And before going to see the poem and the things what you are going to see today is glossary first, then introduction of the author, then stanza-wise explanation of the poem Confessions of a Born Spectator, written by Acton Marsh, then general summary, ERC, appreciation and poetical device. And at last the theme of the poem. Shall we see now the glossaries? Read all these words and keep in your memory. They will be helpful for your future examinations. While writing summaries and paragraphs and appreciation, these are all most helpful. They may ask you even in the appreciation, what does the particular word mean? I have one more question. So all part is important. You don't need glossary. As far as poem is concerned, most of the meaning questions are taken from glossary part. So you know. The first word, jockey, horse rider. The second is prize ring, enclosed area where boxing match is held. Tackle, approach. In football, if ball comes, approaching the ball in a way and passing it to the person where they can make it a goal. Then gaudy home, a showy dress, advertisement dress the sports star wearing while playing. Then main, injure, while playing, some of the players may got injured. Then a play interrupt a noisy way by shouting and also behavior is interrupt with their opponent, they play. Then lead, weak. A baseball, shy and reluctant. A laces, beats with wit. Then steed, a large, strong horse are called a steed. The next, swap. Swap, exchange. Change. Then jealous, enthusiastic. Prudence, wisdom. Gnarled, rough and twisted. Physique, body. Drink to you, drink to wish good luck. Then gamble, run or jump happily. And this poem has some words which I feel that difficulty and different. I have written and given you meaning. Now we will see now about author. Author name Acton Marsh. Acton Marsh full name is Frederick Acton Marsh. Was born in America. He is an American author on August 19, 1902. That is the first part of the 20th century. And USA. Then he born in a rich family. His father was an import and export company owner. He owned and operated a big company so that their family relocated in different places because of business obligations. And the residential places they often changed. And in 1920, he joined in Harvard University after finishing his graduation in St. George School. In 1920, he joined in Harvard University, studied only 1 year. He was a dropout student. He came out from that Harvard University within a year. Then, in 1931, he married Frances Leonard, a woman, and settled there itself. After 4 years, they moved to their native place Baltimore in New York. Until their death, they lived together there. Then he, like other authors, he has not written any other part except a poem. He is a poet. He wrote 500 poems. His poems are light verse. He is known for his light verse. Light verse means easy words and explaining about an event. That is his style of writing. Then he is famous for his humorous poetry in America. Then he went all over USA and even United Kingdom giving his lecture at colleges and universities. And this is his special comparing with the other poets. And the other thing is, he was given an award, that is recognition of the US Postal Service in his 100th birth anniversary is August 19 and 2002, releasing his postage stamp and featuring his photo and some of his poem lines in it. He passed away on May 19, 1971 at the age of 68, leaving as a legacy is all 500 poems. And we will see now about poem. And now you see this stanza. It is the first stanza of the poem. And all these 6 lines I will first. One infant grows up and becomes jockey. Jockey means the person, those who are participating in horse running. Then another plays basketball or hockey. This is one infant, one person. This is another plays basketball or hockey. Hockey is also a game like football, the ground and all. But basketball is a different game. It is the national game of course, the America. Then this one, he is pointing out, the poet pointing out a person and says this one, prize ring hates to enter, hates. He does not like to play the game of boxing. Prize ring, match played in the ring. The boxers are fighting, beating and making one fall. That hates the another person. That one becomes a tackle or center. It is in football. The tackle means the person taking the ball and passing it to the persons who make it to goal, and the other person may be there in the center position. These are the position in football. Then I am just as glad can be. The poet compares himself. He is like glad, very happy. What is the reason? That I am not them, that they are not me. I am not a player to fight vigorously like those fellows. Just I am audience. He says confessions. Confessions means agrees. He agrees himself. He accepts. A born spectator. The title explains that he is a born spectator, not player. Spectator means audience. Here he says, why he is very happy? Because he is an audience. He is a spectator. I don't want to fight like this fellow, horse riding fellow, then basketball and hockey playing persons, and the person who hates the ring, boxing ring, and another people playing in the football, they are all troubling in the match. But I am just sitting and watching them, so I am like happy. He compares himself to happy. He says, I am just as glad as God can be, that I am not dumb, but they are not me. They are not me like spectator just sitting in a place, but I am not like them to fight and win the game, to play different role. In this first stanza, the poet says the different games, the persons interested and hating, and also he says finally in the last 2 lines about he is not like them competing with one another for a winning. He is like happy and sitting as an audience. He agrees himself. Here the title comes here, the confessions of the born spectator. He is an audience. Now the second stanza. With all my heart I do admire athletes who sweat for fun or ire, who take the field in gaudy pomp and maim each other as they roam. My live and bashful spirit feeds on other people's heroic deeds. The next 6 lines we make it into a stanza. In the first line he says, with all my heart I do admire. I must admire them with artful. I admire those people. I like those people. Athletes who sweat for fun or ire. They are sweating much. They are sweating means toiling much and working hard for fun, making others to entertain and hire. They would have been hired by some companies. For that purpose, they will be toiling much. Who take the field in gaudy pomp? Here the gaudy pomp, what we have seen, a dress, of course, given by a company, a showy dress, given by a company, printing the company name and all. Using those dress, they are in the field. Indirectly, they are their advertisers. Who take the field in gaudy pomp and maim each other as they roam. Maim means injured, get wounded in the play, fighting with the other and struggling in that. Each other as they roam, because the rushing towards and fastly playing a disastrous game. That's why they get injured. My limb. Here he talks about his own limb. Limb means here weak. Is weak, and the bashful spirit. Bashful means not strong. Then that spirit feeds on other people's heroic deeds. It is not strong means shy wherever they go. The people feel as shy. They are weak in that. That spirit, he compares his soul to this weak and shy. That because of the person very weak and shy, he satisfies on other people's heroic deeds. The other people are performing well in the field. By seeing that, he thinks that himself is the hero by sitting as an audience. Satisfies himself. The final two lines he says about satisfaction of the other's work. In this stanza, he is not leaving the person without admiring because they sweat for fun and hire. Those people are working very hard for making other people entertained, and also they were hired by some companies, some famous industries. For them, they take the field in gaudy form. They wear the dress of the given Soviet dress, and for winning they are getting injured, and also the rush with another, fighting with another. The poet says he is weak and shy, his spirit, that is his soul is very weak, cannot fight like them, but by seeing their actions he satisfies as himself is also a hero as an audience. The third stanza. Now A runs 90 yards to score, B knocks the champion to the floor, crocking vertebrae and spines, races his steed across the line. You'd think my ego you could please to swap positions with one of these. And in this stanza, he says in the first line, a person A runs 90 yards, an athlete running in the track. He runs 90 yards to score, we want to get first, that's why he is running. And take other person B knocks the champion to the floor. The champion, he may be the last year champion. He would have been now fallen down in the this year, champion to the floor, cracking vertebrae and the spines. Cracking means breaking. Vertebrae kind of bone we have, and the spiners. By falling, these two are broken. Laces his steed across the line next to another person. He laces means whip his steed, strong horse. He will be strong horse across the line to reach first and get the prize. The person who is there on the horse, sitting on the horse, with the horse to run it fast. This you would think my ego, by seeing all this, it would please. I feel very happy, and I think that why don't I, one among them, a competitor, why don't I play now? In the previous stanzas, the poets thought and said that he was very happy of a spectator. But in this stanza, the final he says, his ego, why don't I be like them? They are encouraged much by the other people. They are clapping and applauding and welcoming them in a nice way. So ego it would please to swap position. Swap means exchange position. He wants to go the playing place. The players want to come to the audience place. Swap positions with one of these. In any one of these he want to play, and we got now some thinking, some interest and enthusiasm to play with those people. And so far stanzas, first two stanzas, he was very happy as a spectator, but in this stanza he gets some interest to be a sports person. That is the difference. Next, fourth stanza. Well, ego it might be pleased enough, but jealous athletes play so rough. They do not ever in their dealings consider one another's feelings. I am glad that when my struggle begins, taste prudence and ego, prudence wins. And here he says, well, ego it might be pleased enough. The ego, in the previous stanza we have seen, his ego said what he wanted to play as a sports star. Ego self-important, meaning self-important. It might be pleased enough, that's sufficient. But Chile's athletes play so rough. Why he feels sufficient as an audience? I be enough. He feels then. But Chile's interesting, enthusiastic athletes play so rough, vigorously. They do not ever in their dealings. They never give up in the game. They never give up. Even we see, they know, the players know they are going to be defeated soon after the minutes is over, because the opposite team made several goals, 5 or 6 goals. This fellow made even not a single goal. But we cannot expect any great victory within 5 or 10 minutes. Even if the opposite team played some defense game, they will be automatically defeated. But they never comes any dealings, that's all. We failed, we agree and accept. They never have any dealings like that. Consider one another's feelings. Even the person opposite is got severe wound, they never bother about it. I am glad that when my struggle begins, now the author's struggle begins between, that is fist, prudence and ego. Fist means between, the preposition called between, prudence and ego. Prudence meaning wisdom and the ego meaning self-importance. Between this there are fight. With wisdom and ego there is a fight. In that fight prudence wins. The wisdom wins, is safe in the spectator area. So in this stanza, however he is interested to join and play like other players in the sports in the third stanza, in the fourth stanza he gives up that. He gives up that he likes to be an audience. Because his wisdom decided that he is fit for an audience. He cannot go like this up a rough cave, and those jealous athletes, that is enthusiastic athletes, may make us some wound and injure. We cannot of course allow those things. Next stanza. When swollen eye meets gnawed fist, when snaps the knee and cracks the wrist, when officialdom demands, is there doctors in the stands? My soul in true thanksgiving speaks for this modest officer. When swollen eye meets gnawed fist, swollen eye already got swelling because of the opponent beat on his eye. He got, so that there is some swelling in his eye, meets again severe fist. The person taking hand like this and kicking the person. Gnawed fist. When snaps the knee and cracks the wrist, and that time the knee is taking some damage, cut. Snaps means cut. And also there are some cracks in the wrist, hand, wrist and knee and all broken. Now the person got severe wound because of over fist. An official demands, is there doctors in the stands? They are calling some doctors. They were waiting to treat the people. And that was official means the people, those who are running the game. Demands, asks, is there doctors in the stands? My soul in true thanksgiving speaks. Thanksgiving is prayer to the God. He prays the God and speaks through his words. God has given me the position as spectator. Otherwise I would have been God beat like these people. For this modesty physique, my body is modest, moderate. Moderate, not very strong. Of course we can say somewhat weak. But physique, here the physique means body. Now the quiet body is not very strong. We cannot bear the beats given by the opponent. So he prayed the gods in this stanza, given him as a position as a spectator. I will see the last stanza. Athletes, I will drink to you or eat with you, or anything except compete with you. Buy tickets worth their radium to watch you gamble in the stadium, and reassure myself anew that you are not me and I am not you. In the first line, the athletes, I will drink to you or eat with you. He says to the athletes, I am ready to drink with you. Drinking here means drinking some alcoholic beverages wine or rum or any kind of organisms to you or eat with you. The eating may be vegetarian or non-vegetarian food. I am ready to share with you some food and drinks or anything except other than come with you. I am not ready to play with you. Other than that, I am ready to come with you. Buy tickets worth the radium. Radium is an element worth I costliest green color rays emitting element, and that is the costliest one. Even if your ticket is costliest, I am ready to buy it and enjoy your game, to watch you gamble in the stadium. All your fight, that is play and jump while watching. Audience are very happy. In that happy mood they play and jump in the stadium. The author is ready to play in the stadium where? In the spectator area, not on the sport area, and reassure myself and you. Again I am confirming myself that you are not me and I am not you. I am spectator, you are player. I am not ready to play with you as I am an audience. In the last stanza, he confesses everything that he is ready to do except competing with the players. What are the things he can be with them? Drinking some alcoholic beverages or eating some things and buying tickets worth more than the radium, and he is ready to jump in the audience side chair, enjoying if any goal is made or wicket is taken, and assures himself that finally that he is just an audience, not a player. And that's all about this poem, Confessions of a Born Spectator. The poet in the beginning begins with a game player, and next he increases the speed of his vigorous seeing. In the third stanza, he wanted to compete with them, his ego says, but his prudence accepts that he is not eligible person to play against with them because they are playing hard games. That time they are getting lot of wounds. The officer dumps calls the doctors, and finally he accepts, he is ready to do anything except playing with them. That's all about this poem. And now we will see about appreciation, a poetical device, and one ERC. So we see now ERC. In this ERC, well, ego it might be pleased enough, but jealous athletes play so rough. And this is the line taken from the poem, Confessions of a Born Spectator, written by Acton Noss. This is reference what we are doing in all. This is the first. Then we want to write the meaning of this line, is called context. What is the meaning? As I told you, for reference carries 2 marks. The title, Confessions of a Born Spectator, it should be written as it is, and that author also, poet and Acton Noss should be written, each carries 1 mark. Then you write the meaning of this. And the ego, that is self-importance, pleased sufficiently to the poet. Enthusiastic athletes play very rough game. That is the meaning. Then he explained in what situation the poet is writing this line. That is called explanation. And where he is sitting in audience role, he sees the game and enjoys and goes to the place of his enjoyment of it. He wanted to play instead of one of the player in the game, there in the field. That is the situation. In that situation, the poet writes these lines. Then comment about this line. Whenever a fight comes, ego and the people say wisdom, prudence and ego. If prudence wins, the person will live joyfully. If ego wins, the person will die. This is the comment. You write, ego should not be allowed to win. That is the comment of this ERC. Then the same 2 line, appreciation model question, A and B. I have taken 2 questions, and one is what pleases the ego. The person wanted to exchange the sitting place. Instead of audience, he wanted to be a sports star. That is, the exchanges of position pleases the ego. Why are athletes often rough during the play? They wanted to win. That is their ultimate aim. That is why they are very rough in their game. The time is allotted, and between that time they should play and get victory. That is why they are very rough. And paragraph. The poet does not wish to exchange the places with the athletes. Finally, he comes to conclusion, he is not fit to play as his body is not strong enough. That is very moderate physique with the athlete. How does he justify his way? We saw from beginning, that is from jockey, hockey, and then boxing, and all games how they are struggling with one another and fighting with each other and getting wound, and after getting wound, the doctors are called to here to treat them as he is very less body strength, not enough to stand in front of his opponent. He justifies himself that he is not fit as a sports star, he is fit as an audience. That is why the title taken Confessions of a Born Spectator. We conclude the line, we must play our role better, don't want to interfere in others' role. That is the common conclusion of the paragraph. Then poetical devices, like you see, it might be pleased enough. That it means ego. Ego is here it. Ego does not have any soul, it is not a human personality. It is given soul and treated by the poet like a human being. That's why it is called personification. Personification is one figure of speech used by the poet in their poems. Non-living things are treated as living things. It is one kind of character we have, self-important, that is given soul. That's why here the poet used personifications. And another one word, snaps the knee and cracks the wrist. And these two are the sounds made while doing that actions. If sounds made doing this action is written, for example, ding dong bell, that's a ding is a sound and dong is also a sound. They are called in figure of speech onomatopoeia. A kind of figure of speech, you see the spelling correctly. And onomatopoeia is also used in this poem, the sounds made by the poet. And dear students, today we have seen from the beginning the Confessions of a Born Spectator poem written by Acton Nash, and in the way of as usual glossary, and next about the poet and who wrote some 500 poems only, strictly a poet, a humorous poet of America. Then we have seen stanza-wise explanations and ERC and appreciation, paragraph and poetical device. We go through this poem line by line, see the words and underline it. If you have any doubt, you clarify it by phoning us. See in the next program. Thank you.